Welcome to Fireteam Chat, IGN's Destiny show. Thank you so much for joining us today. On my right, CJ Gibson is here for this episode.
How's it going?
Thanks for coming back.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Good to see you again. And Fran Mirabella on my left.
What's up, everybody? Hey, Guardians.
Hey, Guardians.
Hey, Guardians.
Welcome to Fireteam Chat.
Yeah.
How's it going? This week, we're going to be talking about Rise of Iron and how we feel about it after the reveal. We have a few little news updates to also discuss. We're going to be talking about Fran's question about which character you should start with if you're coming to the game fresh or starting something new.
Question for me. I need your help. And just in general, if you're getting into the game or want to start a new character.
And then we're going to talk about the multiplayer modes that are coming to Rise of Iron and what we think or what we would like to see. Yeah. So let's kick it off. Rise of Iron, they had a little stream reveal where they ran around the new patrol area that's covered in ice. They showed a very small area of the world. And honestly, I remember the reveal. I was like amped up that day. I was like, yeah, I'm so excited. And
they give you a taste.
Yeah. Then they gave me a taste, and I was just like, that stream didn't do much for me.
Says the guy that's like, don't show me too much, and they don't show you too much. And now you're like,
they literally showed you like nothing, though.
But to be fair,
yeah,
what did they show us? They showed us and by the way, I was like, it was okay. They showed us where you drop in the new patrol for Earth in the Cosmodrome. What they have not showed us is Plaguelands.
Yeah, they also didn't show us.
That's the big reveal.
They also didn't show us much of the area. They only showed us a small bit.
Yeah, was it over by Great Divide or something like that? I think.
Yeah, where the big spider tank used to be.
Yes, yeah, it's where.
Dropped.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was a little underwhelmed by that. And just overall, I'm noticing the hardcore Destiny players. Of course, we're excited. We're going to play Rise of Iron. We're there. I'm worried. My concern is that Rise of Iron is not going to bring in a new crowd. So let's talk to somebody new. CJ Gibson.
New.
Dude,
are you still super excited?
I'm excited. Yeah, new too. I mean,
he's not new to Destiny.
Exactly.
Yeah, sorry. You play a lot.
Do.
You're
Since
new on the
day
show.
Yes.
So let's get your take.
I mean, for the most part, I think any new Destiny content, when it first comes out, for about a month, it feels great. And so you just kind of immerse yourself. You go, there's a bunch of new little things that happen. There's that community feeling all over again. But I think what's going to happen now is that people are going to start to go, what's next, very quickly. And we'll see. I mean, obviously the raid and the challenge mode parts, if that happens, I think that will be good. But I don't know. I think Destiny 2 is very close to the mindset of people going, okay, well, what is next? And I don't think it will bring tons of new players back. I'm excited, but I don't think it's going to bring, if you missed the first two, I don't think you're coming back for Rise of Iron.
Yeah, I mean, it's a $30 expansion.
Yeah.
I think we've touched on this a little before. And
it's a big expansion.
And, we were talking about it before the show. Yeah, I mean, it's still a Taken King-sized expansion. We know roughly what to expect. The price point is set in a way that I think we know what to expect. We shouldn't be that surprised at what's coming. A new raid's coming. They're releasing a new Crucible mode. There's a new social space, just like when we first got to the Reef, right? There's a very similar pattern. There's going to be gear that's going to be shut down. That you won't be able to play until, who knows, maybe never, maybe later. There's going to bring back some gear, and then there's going to be all new gear. And so, yeah, I think the big difference is, like, part of what you were getting at, right, was, like, yeah, is it going to bring in, like, a whole new crowd? I mean, I think absolutely not.
I hope it does. I hope it does.
But my excitement level doesn't ride on that.
Yeah, I think it'll bring people back who were in year 1 and 2 who potentially strayed away a little bit, but I don't think it's going to bring in, a bunch of new people. Oh, it's a brand new title. Way people missed out on the first two.
I think the reason the wind was taken out of my sails a little bit is because I felt the stream, and I would have faced this challenge also. I felt that the stream was just a little bit lackluster. In the past, Bungie
the Cosmodrome
patrol video. They go in, they reveal the Sparrow horn, they show the Galler Wing. Is that what it's called?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Something crazy. It's a weird name, isn't it?
It's a Galler.
Yeah. Because there's a fan one, and then there's the
that's
the official one.
It's the Galler Wing.
Okay, yeah. I'm just trying to remember the difference. Anyway, so they come up with this reel. They show the bike 3 times. The bike's like, okay, I'm cool. And then there were some broadcast technical difficulties.
Yeah.
And in the past, it's been like, all right, here's quality of life improvements. You're getting a bigger vault. You're getting this. Here's new characters you can visit in the tower. Next up, here's 3 new armor sets for each of the new factions. This is what you can work towards. And then there's this other thing. It's very structured. They have a plan. They go in. They execute it. This one was basically they go in, they briefly touch on concept art. There's technical difficulties. They showcase 1 or 2 new things in the production. And then there's like, all right, I guess we'll end it and show the trailer that you've seen 2 times already. And I think because of the presentation style, it has impacted my hype level. Because their first reveal, they knocked it out of the park. It was fantastic. They showed like the roadmap of what they're going to be revealing. For Rise of Iron, when they did the stream talking about Plaguelands, and they revealed the trailer and they showed everything, like the new raid, and we did the rewind, and I did the analysis piece. And this one was just like, there wasn't a lot to pull from. They could have showed off the new armor that they've already shown the Warlock wearing. They could have showed off the new Trials armor. They didn't do that. They could have showed us assets that they've already showed us just in engine and what they look like and gone over them in the menu and stuff like that. Not giving away too much, but they didn't do any of that. They just ran around in a patrol area, and it's impacted my excitement about the game that I'm still hyped for. But I'm just kind of like, I was confused by the presentation.
But it's a month and a half out. I feel like I see and hear this a lot. Like, you're going to say this now.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be Gamescom.
They're going to be like, woo!
Yeah, they're going to show the new whatever, Crucible mode.
Yeah.
And then we're going to find out what that is. And they're like, oh, man, all right, now I'm hyped. But then we still haven't seen Plaguelands. I mean, who knows if they'll show that before at Gamescom. But then that will come after. And then also, well, they're not going to show us the raid, I doubt, right?
Yeah.
But they'll show us, I think, more of a strike or something at some point.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
To me, they're pacing it out. I mean, think about it. You've got almost 4 weeks in September, I guess about 3, that you have to go through and wait. You got PAX coming up.
That's
they don't
true, and
have
they did say
enough
they're
to
going to be
show.
at PAX.
Like, meaning the reverse is, like, it's only August 1st, right around now. It's getting close. That's still almost 2 months away. So, like, right, if they show you a bunch of stuff now, which, by the way, is not totally done, it's basically done, but then what are they going to show later?
Yeah.
So now they got you hyped, but then, by the way, when you're about to press the I'll buy that button, you don't have as much hype. And so, quite honestly, that's how the hype train works with PR. So it doesn't surprise me. They don't have a ton to show, but I would totally agree with you that, like, the way they showed off the Cosmodrome, like, it seems like maybe they're just very busy. They don't have a lot of resources, right, to plan and produce these things.
Yeah, they are probably in, like, super crunch right now. So
yeah, I agree. More thought could be put into. You're right, because something as little as like, okay, it's just a taste, and we're not going to go inside this room that the shanks are cutting through, but we do want to show you this one. Here's a piece of armor, and that can go a long way. And so I agree with you. It was a little light on that front.
Yeah, they could improve next time. And the whole reason I brought this up though was my concern with watching the community react to this stuff. It's also been very timid, and I'm just kind of like, if the hardcore is reacting timidly to your reveals, that's a little worrisome for me.
Yeah.
Because I want new players. I want people coming back to play.
I don't think that's going to happen. Other than, we all have those friends that come back and they want to play the raid for a little bit. But then that's about it. And I think that, CJ was getting at it. Like, you're going to need like a full Destiny 2 relaunch, new engine, new features, etc., which is just down the road. I mean, again, this is a DLC pack.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a new game.
It's a DLC pack that's comparable to the Taken King, though.
Yeah, but we saw Taken King didn't bring in a bunch of people, right?
Yeah, it did.
Half
of our office started playing Destiny when the Taken King launched.
Though? Yeah.
For long enough, but new players came in, and I can guarantee you some of those were converted into longtime players.
That is true. Yeah. I just mean it wasn't like a huge en masse difference. Like at least I didn't notice. I don't have the numbers.
In our office alone, I'd say 12 new people started playing.
But that was because they realized that the game had been fixed and they wanted to like get a taste of it. But then they went away, And I think that'll happen again. I'm just saying, like, from a mass side of things, I don't think you're going to get a ton of people that are super interested in Destiny 2 over this.
But
I hope you're wrong.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch of different things too that you saw, like
same formula.
Yeah, same formula. And so from that standpoint, like, is there going to be, the Solar Titans? There's a bunch of new stuff that we didn't see at the time. It's like,
we got a subclass.
Yeah, we got a subclass. So now it's like there's no new subclass. There's potentially new, that we know of, unless,
there is.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Well, in the HUD before there was a slot.
You saw a slot box, and you were kind of go, oh, what's this? But yeah, so from that standpoint, it seemed like they did a really good job at marketing Taken King as a complete separate relaunch of Destiny. Doesn't feel like this is what's happening with Rise of Iron, but I don't know.
But it's
Yeah,
not
I
supposed to be. That's my point.
No, I know,
love
but
the aspiration, but I mean,
but that's
it's a
what I
DLC.
think they've done well with that, because the first update did not have that. You know,
Yeah.
it was not like that Taken King-esque. It was
First
like,
update being Crow to
with
Zen,
like
you mean?
Crow to Zen. Yeah, it was kind of like, here's a little bit of DLC, but they really did it right with Taken King. And they added in fixed a lot of things,
Right.
like Vault and everything else.
But that's the thing. The game is a lot more, balanced out. And then most recently, I'd say they fixed the infusion confusion. That's gotten better. But it's not like, remember, when it launched, that is why I would say more people came back in. They got so turned off of the grind after level 18 to 20 there. They were like, I'm just out. They never really saw a lot of the other stuff because the barrier to entry was crazy. So, meaning, I think that's why they came back. I think you'll experience a little bit of that again. And there's some people who still haven't played since, the beginning. So I think you will get it. I'm just, I want the same thing. I just don't think it's realistic to think you're going to get a bunch of people playing Destiny all of a sudden because of a new Crucible mode and another raid.
Not
let's
for
face it.
long.
Same formula. It's going to be, I'm excited.
And the huge
same.
new campaign.
Really? You expect a huge new campaign? I don't.
They're saying it's as big as Taken King.
But that's the point. You saw Taken King. It was not some huge new campaign. We revisited a bunch of areas and this enemy now is black and white and shivering and I like it. I'm just saying it's not like a whole new experience. We got a piece of that on. Phobos.
I would say
Vanilla and the Dreadnought.
Well, you're getting into
nice,
a discussion about vanilla Destiny versus Taken King, and was that a jump? And if you don't think that was a jump, you're way off mark.
No, it was absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't expect that from Taken King to Rise of Iron.
Got it.
Why would you expect that? Because my point is they already fixed all that.
I expect the same caliber quality content as Taken King. Cinematics, which we're going to get. New gear. We're going to get those story elements.
Yeah.
Yes, we have new multiplayer modes that we know are coming.
The raid was awesome. Yeah.
And they did a lot to the detriment of the excitement level with that reveal, is what I'm getting at.
Did a lot. I missed you on that part.
To lower the excitement level with a lackluster stream.
You're saying from the Cosmodrome stream.
The Cosmodrome.
Well, yeah, but it's that's my. They barely showed anything. When we see the raid, I think we'll be pretty excited. Yeah. I'd be very surprised if honestly, I was so excited to get inside King's Fall. So yeah, and even Crota's End. I mean, the raids are so cool. So my excitement level is huge. For the $30 just to play the raid, I mean, I'm in. Get me a couple exotics, gear out of the raid. I know I'll be complaining in 4 months that I don't have enough gear or whatever.
You do.
Yeah.
But out for $30, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
It took me 12 to 14 hours with all my friends and managing getting in and out of the raid to figure it out.
They've set the bar so high with those streams that to have one that missed the mark was just surprising.
And that's it. I think that's what you're saying. It's but I mean,
all their streams have been freaking fantastic.
Remember the one where they just walked around the tower and there was a sword on their back and there wasn't that much more than that.
There was a million little
Yeah.
details in there, though.
nuggets.
They looked at their menu. You knew what new light level was. They showed new weapony. They showed new
ghost
vault.
in the distance. Yeah, there's a bunch of little things.
There was a ton to pull out of that, and we just didn't get that this time.
Now I see the expectation because it's a new release and what you expected. But I'm also remembering there have been some small streams, and maybe that's just where I saw it differently. I'm they're saving the big stuff still.
So we should move on, but and you guys make good points. I do want to hear what you guys think. So make sure you leave a comment on YouTube, on IGN, and you can always check us out on your iPhone using the IGN app, your PS4 using the IGN app, or your Xbox One using the IGN app. There. App callouts. I nailed it, and it seems semi-natural, sort of.
Is actually install it, because I've been looking at the numbers, and I mean, the point is, if you're not there's no reason to install it. But if you haven't tried it and you think you'd use it, it is cool to check out.
We did have a few little updates. Oryx just tweeted out that class items are now going to be affected by shaders. That's
Oryx
CG
is
Barrett.
an employee of Bungie.
That's CG Barrett.
CG Barrett.
Yeah, on Twitter.
I just want to make sure.
Maybe you should follow him.
I do follow him actually.
He's working on this little Rise of Iron update.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But just actually, Oryx himself didn't. I just wanted everybody to be clear.
He's been at Bungie 20 years. Might be somebody you want to hit that follow button.
I do follow. I'm going to prove it right now.
I'm just giving you crap. So he says that class items are now going to be affected by shaders, and they showed a warlock. Yeah, there you
on
go.
stream just to confirm.
Yeah.
I follow you, game director. I just didn't remember that he I
You've
thought.
met him many times.
Yeah, what I was trying to remember was if there was like actually, you know how there's that Cryptarch? I thought you were saying like somebody.
Oh, no,
so
no,
I didn't
no.
want any
Yeah,
confusion that it was not a non-Bungie employee.
Yeah, so he tweeted out the image of a hunter with a cape that's affected by a shader that traditionally isn't affected, and some other things. So that's great news. People have been asking for shaders to affect class items for a while. And then
This was
also
an hour ago.
Also, next week, modifiers in Challenge of the Elders will become random, which is great. So you're not you're not going to be able to go in with a strategy. You're going to have to go in and adapt to whatever the modifier is each round. Do you guys think random modifiers is good for Challenge of the Elders?
Yeah, I get the high score thing and
Yeah.
there being a weekly challenge, but you see how long it lasts, and I think they're seeing it too.
Yeah.
Not a lot of you might be into that for the first week or two, but then it's just kind of like the Nightfall. I would like to just hop in and have it be random, and I think that's the way Prison of Elders should be.
Yeah.
No match should be the same because, right?
Yeah.
It should be arcadey. Hop in, randomize, see what happens, because it's just that type of mode.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
it's great.
That's what I liked about the lower levels of Prism when it first came out, is that they were random. I mean,
Yeah.
before that stuff came out. And
Yes.
so, yeah, I actually liked them for that reason.
Adds a little spice.
Yeah, I still don't think
Exactly.
I'm going to be playing because I'm a rewards-based player, but it gives you
You still get your
something to do.
rewards at 30 and 90.
Yeah, I know, but meaning unless I'm chasing I'm trying to think of one of the guns from there that I want, but
Yeah.
meaning I don't have a ton of reason to
Drake's
play Prison
Promise.
Elders, so yeah, I already have Dregs and all the exotics, but
Yeah, I don't.
I
I
was
never
thinking
got
of
them from-
Her Mercy or something like that.
Yeah, Prison was never my favorite thing, so I never got the year one weapons, and it just came out at a strange time.
Yeah,
for me.
I mean, the point is I don't love grinding through that because there's not a reward that I'm really chasing. I want
Got it.
another IS Luna roll, for example, so I'll play Crucible all day long.
That makes sense.
You don't
and-
want to kill Skolas again? I mean, that was really fun.
Skolas.
Oh,
The Defiler.
burnt for so long.
Come to the prison.
What burn was it? Solar? Just
Arc.
kidding.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
anyways, painful memories.
Destroy mine.
Remember when it was Arc and everybody just nuked him with Galley?
Yeah.
that was so fun.
Oh, yeah.
It was melt. Okay, he's done.
Boom.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah. So, Fran, you had actually a fantastic topic, and I think it's a good question
Fantastic.
I think it's a good question for new players who might be getting into Destiny for the first time, or
In my case,
in your case, deleting a character, so that you can start a new one.
yes.
And the question is, if you're starting fresh, which character should you create?
Yeah, and for a little more context,
Let's
I have-
preface this. Just wait. Which character should people create or Fran?
People.
Yeah,
so
sorry.
Fran has 3 warlocks.
Yeah, wait.
Come
First
to
me.
that.
First me.
Okay.
So first we'll go
I need
with
your
Fran.
help is the first point because I cannot decide. So why did I create 3 warlocks? People think I'm insane.
He is.
He is.
No,
Yeah.
originally the grind to get the warlock helmet out of Vault of Glass or Crota's
that.
End, such a grind. I just did not have time for it. So I'm a math guy.
It did make sense.
It was
made
a
sense.
strat
Year
to
one.
get all
So
the gear.
easy. And guess
It did
what?
make sense.
Leveling up your light level. Now you have gear. You just transferred over to the next one, and now you can go through each raid at a very high level, and it's quick.
And I
So-
was like, I want one character in each class so I can fully experience the world of Destiny. So I made one of each.
I like that. I do not.
and each is actually a different, one's exo, one's human, and one is awoken.
I'm pretty sure
So, yeah.
as much trials and stuff as I do play now.
It doesn't make a difference, but
You've probably still played a lot more hours than me because of that original grind. It
Yeah.
was such a grind.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was my way around it. Through most of year one, it was actually a really big issue.
Yeah.
As we got into Taken King, it started to loosen up a bit. You still kind of needed it, but it wasn't as big a deal to level up. And that, it is true. It was end of last year, I started to realize, I'm like, I probably should start a new character. But I already had the 3, and I just hop into the raids, and I don't have to grind 20 hours of getting started to level 25, and then another, or maybe it's closer to 15, but you get the point. Then it's another 7 hours of all the quests, and long story short, you get it, why I started 3, hopefully. Some of you still think I'm crazy. I understand.
Yes.
But I got all my gear that I needed very quickly, and then I just moved on and played the stuff that I like without the grind. That's just how I play. So now I'm at a point with 3 warlocks, and I need advice from people who have played plenty of the others. I play a ton of multiplayer, and actually that's where I feel a little incapacitated.
Hunter.
But wait, there's the other side.
Moving on.
I
Yeah.
constantly hop into raids, and we always need another bubble or something. And so part of
okay.
me wants to be, I'll just grab my Titan, go bubble. God, they're so powerful, like so useful, depending on how they set up the raid. I don't feel like you call for a hunter that often in raids. At this point, Rise of Iron could be different. We'll see. Either
Tether.
way,
Yeah,
but
how much
I
you do
would
with
say
hunters
if
for
I had
tether.
to put weight on it, I'm weighting more towards PvP. But with that note, I've also seen, like, I like to float as a warlock. That's what I like about warlocks. I mean, you shouldn't be floating in the air. But I've seen how, like, fast Titans are floating. But I also want speed on the ground. And so, anyway, all that...
To start this conversation,
Exactly.
let's say that hunters are my least favorite class. And
Least favorite.
And the reason it is for me is because of their jumping mechanics. I started Warlock also, and then I went Titan, and then I worked on my Hunter. And Hunter just jumps very differently from the other two classes,
it's
and
like
it
a
takes a
heavy,
lot to get used to.
Like drop, right?
Now that I've had enough time with my Hunter, I love my Hunter, and I love my Hunter especially for
step.
PvP.
Yes.
He is fantastic in PvP, and in PvE, you brought up the Titan lack of bubble. Well, I also find a lack of tether often, and it's always good to have that
For
extra
orbs?
hunter that can tether for extra damage and for orbs.
Yeah.
So in the current raid, those are two subclasses that are desperately needed. So for you, I would say Hunter's going to be a jarring change for you jump-wise,
Yes.
but
okay with that.
it is the most dramatic change, and there is enough there where you're going to do great in multiplayer and you're going to do great in the raid.
And I want something different. It's just I want to make sure that, I'm not going to, like, hate the play style or something.
But I will say, and that's funny that you mentioned. So you started as what character first?
Warlock.
Warlock, and you were a Warlock. Yeah.
You realized
but-
pretty
yeah,
quickly what you were
Sage said when we were at Bungie a long time ago, he's like, the Warlock runs into the house, sets it on fire, and then waits for the people to run out, and then picks them off. Like, he uses magic.
Yes.
Basically. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I started the game as a hunter, and I feel like whatever character you start the game as, that's kind of what you gravitate towards, because I still am not a good Titan or Warlock. I just feel it's not as offensive as far as PvP goes.
Yeah.
But in the raid, and even sometimes in PvP, as a Titan, there's defensive grenades and bubbles. There's a bunch of things that it depends on your playstyle. So
Yeah.
I know,
you're
everybody's
really
got
going to have a
different
hard time, I think.
Titan is my main multiplayer character, actually.
Yeah.
I like the Hunter, but I'm really good with the Titan. Well, okay. I'm okay.
You're good.
Comparatively, I'm good
To
with
your
the
other
Titan.
classes, yeah.
But yeah.
But that's the thing. I mean, Titan has the ability to assist people in PvP. And from that standpoint, I mean, depending on if you're really aggressive, and I mean, again, I've played lots of PvP with you as well, you're more of a team player than an aggressive, hey, I'm going to go out there and do that. And Hunter Supers are really kind of catered to those people who play very aggressively. And from that standpoint, I think a part of me secretly wants to see you shoulder charge as a Titan. And if you have a vote,
Falling
I
off
think
the shoulder
that's
charge.
what's going to happen. If you go, hey, which character should I be? You're going to get people who want to just see you rock a
I mean,
Titan,
I like
but-
Titans. They're,
So-
the slam is just awesome.
Yeah.
I
as well.
don't want you to be a Titan because I want to continue to hear your complaints about the shoulder
Yeah,
charge, which are
exactly.
totally unfounded and wrong.
Yeah.
Shoulder charge is fine. I get wrecked all the time with shoulder charge. You just need to learn how to combat it.
Nope. Should not be
You just
worth it
won't
like
do
that,
it
I'm
out of just the amount of resistance you've had to it.
No,
over the
So
past,
one
like, 2
strategy I
years.
use in multiplayer with something like a shotgunner or a shoulder charger is I fall back when I see them coming in and I kite them towards me and I just pick them off with my scout.
Yeah, of course. When you
it's
see them
not
coming,
a problem.
That's not the ones that I'm talking about,
Dude, if
I'm
somebody
talking about
can
when you're
get
midair
behind
and a
you-
guy like 90-degree turns like out of midair. I'm sorry, that's stupid.
Twilight Garrison. It's a
Yeah,
good combination
it's way
to
too.
have with.
I mean, in those instances,
Boom.
I get that it is hard to use. Like, trust me, I've heard the commentary.
So which one are
Anyway,
you leaning towards?
Well, wait though. Did you actually pick one? You
I
didn't
mean, no.
pick one.
So for you, I think that
For me
you-
first.
Yeah, for you, I think you probably would feel better as a Titan. The floating jump mechanic, bubble, and then even striker. with-
Comfortability wise, I agree.
I think so. Like Hunter is going to be a pretty dramatic change for you.
Yeah,
I
that's-
personally love Hunter, and so I feel
But I want speed.
betraying.
So I'll tell you, I do. The biggest thing with Warlocks, they feel slow to me. So if my main objective is to get to somewhere faster,
Titan.
Titan still is
If
fast.
you want basically the same
I
character
wanna get
control
to
wise,
places more
Titan will get you there faster. And with the same sort of jumping mechanics.
speed bursts. And
Yeah,
all
because you
that
get
stuff.
speed burst on your jump.
well, I need to just start.
If you
all of
want
them,
something
obviously.
truly different, Hunter.
Yeah.
Now let's also address your question for the players at large. If you're starting the game anew, what class should you run?
Where do you start?
And the answer is really whatever you want. They all have.
they did
their
a good
sort of-
job.
They
Yeah.
all are pretty balanced. They all sort of have their quirks. I feel like personally the Warlock is a little weak right now. It's good. It has some qualities, but and we don't know what we're going to see with the raid. So I think Titan and Warlock are a little stronger right now. or sorry, not Titan and Hunter are a little stronger right now.
Really?
But Warlock's like just a hair below.
Really? Yeah, I don't think so.
It just depends on your play style.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have.
That's the better answer.
Yeah.
How do you play?
If you play very aggressively, like Hunter really has an arsenal of supers that are very offensive, especially you think you get 3 shots with your golden gun or 3 tethers. There's just a bunch of things. And Blade Dancer lasts forever.
Yeah, I mean, remember, we're talking to people who obviously have played it at one point in time.
Titan's original design concept was in your face, get in there, you're a soldier. Hunter was the original design concept was sniper.
Sniping.
Wait, snipe. That's why Golden Gun was the first ability. And then Arc Blade is like, okay, I'm backed into a corner. Arc Blade, kill everything, and then you push him, but then you fall back. That's kind of like the idea or concept that they have with those two. And then Warlock is kind of like, I use magical abilities and like a sort of mid-range balance between those two.
I mean, Warlock's been great for me overall, except I do get too floaty too often, and so that's something one of the reasons I'm thinking about Hunter is to keep my feet on the ground and not rely on that.
But really, as a new player, what abilities look the most interesting to you? Do you like the idea of popping lightning and electrocuting everybody, or throwing a Nova Bomb, or being able to revive yourself and support your teammates that way? Or as a Hunter, Golden Gun, Arc Blade, or a damage boost? And then Titan, it's bubble support, super,
it could be any of them,
and hammer
I think
for range.
They did a good job balancing those. That you don't feel like you're missing. Like, yes. A Warlock is going to feel like they're missing a bubble, and a bubble is going to feel like, wow, I can't believe you have res, and so on. But like at the end of the day, they all have good stuff. I mean, Golden Gun, right? Like, is awesome. So like you never feel like you're left out, and they did honestly have done a very good job with that and balancing it over time. So honestly, you can't go wrong. But playstyle definitely. What I would say is knowing everything that I know about the characters, and we'll see as time goes on. But like I picked the right character. Like I like Warlocks, like I like the floatiness, like
but it's all
I
you
like
know.
Magic.
It's
it is all you know.
but
that was the point. I know my play style,
Okay,
so I already know that I picked the right character to start with, and I'll probably still like Warlocks the most, but I know that I'm going to love some of these abilities on a Hunter or Titan. I gotta decide. It's funny, the more that everyone wants me to start a Hunter actually, because it's so different. But I
would miss your Titan shoulder charge.
But my instinct, based on just what I've seen and played against, is like, man, I should just start a Titan. Like I'd be right at home, I'd be good with it. Yeah. But I feel like I need to disrupt myself and force myself to learn like a really different style.
That's good. And that's the reason why I think you should do a Hunter. I mean, it's a very different style of gameplay. I think the other thing too, and I don't know if you mentioned it, I initially did all 3 right off the bat. I wasn't sure which one I liked, and the combination of just understanding how your opponent plays, especially in PvP, is to be able to use the various things. Like, it's amazing to me, for all the PvP you play, you've not yet had to experience.
Yeah, I haven't had to use it.
Yeah, you haven't had to use it, so
yeah,
you don't really know
hit by it so much. I know how it works.
But being hit by it and actually doing it to somebody, very different.
Yeah,
so
of course.
From that standpoint.
Of course, you can say like fusion sticky grenades, are like super powerful, but they are like, if you're up close, okay, easier to hit, but they are not super easy from a distance. So everything's got that balance to it. And I realized that was shoulder charge, but still, it could be touched up a little bit. That's all that I'm saying.
We do have one more topic you wanted to cover off on. We're just going to go a little bit over. Do you have time to?
Yeah.
All right, then let's talk about
I'm probably late for a meeting.
Rise of Iron's multiplayer mode. Why don't you just phrase this the way you would like to?
Yes. So for me, I know that we've talked about it a little bit, but as time nears, and I think probably Gamescom is the place. It's still just a guess. It could be Plagueland's reveal, or we don't know yet. But I think they're going to come out and say, here's the new mode for Crucible. It's a good place to do it because they revealed, again, the modes for Taken King back at E3 last year. I was a little surprised that it's such a wait. But that was also when they had, Mayhem plus Rift for introduction. So they had a lot to work with, and they have fewer things now. Anyway, so the question is, having time to think about it, having maybe played Iron Banner recently and yada yada, what do we think they are actually going to introduce? So I said to Destin, I was like, well, if we're going to go in, we need to at least think about it.
Yeah.
Like, more deeply, have some reasoning. I talked to CJ about Bungie's past. I think we should touch on that a little bit because it might inform us. But I'm having trouble arriving at a conclusion. But I have something at least, and maybe we need help on the details getting there. But I think, thinking about it more, that it's not just going to be like Rift, where it's something that you can play Monday through
It's
Sunday.
a version of Capture the Flag.
No, I think I'm gonna call it Weekly Iron for now. But we've got Iron Banner, and then we've got Trials, the super hardcore 3v3. But we don't have like a weekly ritual, other than like the weekly Crucible bounty of something that resides every week as probably 6v6. And so I think it's going to be some combination of Saladin reward, right? A weekly Iron. It's not going to be Iron Banner where it randomly rotates. That's the piece I don't know yet. Is what is the gameplay? We were looking over and talking about some Bungie stuff. Like, what was the match where you had the sword, the zombie?
Zombies, yeah. It was like, and that derived of an old Halo 2 game type,
Yeah.
but they actually, did it their own for Halo 3 and after. So
Yeah, and you
I think
basically one person spawns in with the sword,
Yep.
on their own, right? They're alone.
Yeah,
They're
and
infected.
You're infected.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't think-
And everybody else has shotguns.
Yeah.
And you try and kill the sword guy.
So I don't think
Yeah.
it's necessarily that, but I'm wondering, like, is there something they
And
can do
when they
with-
get killed, that person gets a sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sort of become enslaved or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
But I was like, could it maybe be something with the relic, the axe? Maybe that could have something to do with it, but I'm not sure. That's what's weird.
Like a power weapon on the field.
yeah, because
That's not heavy.
because they have effectively captured the flag, which is Rift. It's a different version of it. It could just be a real capture the flag.
What you
maybe.
just described to me, if they had a relic on the thing, it's basically Juggernaut.
Yeah.
You pick up an item, it was a skull in Juggernaut, and you become super powered, and you can do way more damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in Reach and a couple of the other ones, yeah, you had like the giant like hammer. And
Yeah.
you just
That sounds
run
cool.
around
That
and-
sounds cool.
But were you
I can
alone?
compare it to something that exists. So yeah.
But were you in Juggernaut? Were you like alone
Juggernaut,
at
it
first?
was who can be the Juggernaut the longest, and you try and fill up a time bar as the Juggernaut.
Oh, it was
surviving
free-for-all,
the longest.
though.
I think you pick up a skull. If I remember right, you pick up a skull and I think maybe you could use a pistol or
Yeah.
the goal's just to hold it. No,
Yeah.
that was oddball.
Yeah, that was all.
That was
So
odd.
you
Yeah,
became
sorry.
the Juggernaut, and then you basically it was
You were strong. You were super
it was
strong.
you against everybody else. So you kind of were. It depends on who you played with. If you knew the people you're playing with, and obviously you don't sometimes have that ability with Destiny, 'cause no customs.
Yeah.
You could actually kind of team up and then figure it out. But yeah, I don't know. That might be a hard one to, because you need to basically go in almost like to a Rumble scene rather than a 6v6 one.
Yeah, maybe it will. Maybe
like
it is
that.
Rumble though. Like every Iron Lord for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get there with what the mechanic would be because I was searching for it. It was very clear to us before. We said, well, they're going to do capture the flag. Oh, it turns out it's Rift. Mayhem we didn't expect, but like a super powered match.
Makes
It was an
sense.
interesting, easy ad.
Yeah.
I think this one's going to be a lot more thoughtful. So I don't know. Destin said he had something.
So I had something. This is more just something I'd like to see in Destiny, and it's some version of the gun game that was made popular by Call of Duty. I think that's a really
sounds
interesting
good.
concept. Like everybody starts with pistols, and then when you get a pistol or whatever the lower weapon is, probably ARs.
Yeah.
Right now, so everybody starts with ARs. You get a kill with the AR, you get the next level. Then you get like Hawkmoon.
Yeah, you start. Everybody goes up,
and then it
tiers.
escalates, and then you get a heavy machine gun or something, or a rocket launcher,
Yeah.
and then I don't know. I don't get that far.
That'd be
gun
interesting.
game, so
well, maybe
Yeah.
maybe the axe is the last ultimate weapon that you land.
Then you have
on.
the axe, and the goal is to get like one kill with every weapon, and then once you get to the top, you get that final kill, and then you win.
And that'd be
The
very
next
cool.
mountaintop.
And that would kind of fit with the Iron Banner theme, I think. Sort of like all Iron Banner weapons, and then like you upgrade, and then. But Bungie would definitely put their own spin on it. They'd
Yeah.
figure out a way to make it different. They never just like do capture the flag again. They
No,
do
yeah.
Rift, which is an interesting take on capture the flag. So yeah, what about you, CJ?
I mean, I was a big fan of Modern Warfare 2, 3, those games when they introduced Kill Confirmed. So that's
Kill
like a
Confirmed.
yeah. Do you remember playing that?
Yeah.
You ever done that where you would kill somebody, they would drop dodge tags. Maybe in this situation they
Got
drop
it.
something
It was like the skull drops in
similar. Yeah.
Invasion. No, I forget what it's
Reach.
called.
Halo Reach had a mode like
They drop
that.
their butt sash.
Yeah, they drop the bust dash or
Yeah.
the bond or the
Yeah.
cape, and you pick it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, something like that. I mean, it was really that was probably my most favorite gameplay actually of that series.
But
like,
wait,
in
you
the
got to
Modern Warfare.
kill, and then you collected that person's tags.
So what happened was when you
kill them, but then you have to touch their tags to get more
Yeah.
points.
yes, but then when
Yeah.
you died,
someone else.
when you died, you also dropped a tag, and so your teammate could pick up that tag
Yeah.
and save, from
Points.
the enemy getting it.
Yeah.
And so then it was a combination of being
was like, get
strategic
over, go grab
for,
that,
yeah,
like you
when to
guys-
push
yeah.
to get tags, and then also when to then collect your, your
interesting.
your
That,
teammates.
that was very
so.
fun. The fact that both of us came to a Call of Duty conclusion does make me a little nervous, and I want to clarify, at least for me, I don't want Destiny to be more like Call of Duty.
No.
I think it's different enough that I like it, and
Yes.
it plays at a pace that I enjoy. Call of Duty is just, it's its own beast.
They don't play the same.
Yeah.
Their
No.
mechanics
But
are so
that was
good.
They don't, and I'm not saying, hey, Bungie, be more like Call of Duty.
No. But that was
Yeah.
that was
They're all
a
shooters,
fun
though, I mean.
game
Yeah.
mode within the context of that Modern Warfare 2 Black Ops pace. Like that would be a cool gameplay mode to add to Destiny, regardless of
Their take on what you're describing would be really interesting to see.
Yeah, I think so. Because there's enough of the lore that they could introduce into it where you had to potentially, because it's the rewards. That's a beautiful part about Destiny that has not really been done in all the other games. They found a way to make PvP and PvE weapons somehow mesh together in this universe. I still don't know how they've done it. It's amazing when you think about it.
What if it was silver, and at the end of every multiplayer match, the person with the most silver got like 2 more silver? People would go nuts.
Sterling, yeah, exactly.
the sterling. Yeah.
That'd
like
be
the
dancing
actual
people,
currency
yeah.
that you can get.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Ooh. Walking down a slippery slope there.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Don't do that. Don't actually do that.
Yeah, I was also just thinking, are they likely to use something they've already developed, which happens a lot in situations like this? So, like Crimson Doubles, we did have that overpowered sort of feature,
Right.
which relates to relics.
It was
Starting to think there's
so
a good chance, the more we talk about it, there's something in there that could be,
that they were testing it.
where you rise to the second level something during the match.
So I
be a
bet
feature
you
in
get
there.
on a Sparrow and go to the finish line, and the first person to get to the finish line gets a damage
It's a
boost.
triathlon.
Yeah, it's a triathlon. Oh my God! What if
We
that's
think
why
of
they've been doing
Gallery,
these tests?
Yeah.
That's why they didn't bring back
And
SRL.
then you have to put on your Halloween mask.
Then there's a sniper range.
And then there's like a dance
Speed
off,
shooing.
and then you get like rated on your dancing, and then you got to go on to like it's a decathlon.
goodness.
Maybe we nailed it.
Yeah,
No.
all right. Make it happen, Bungie. More golden ideas from Fireteam chat over here. Yeah.
What do you guys? But seriously, what do you think? 'Cause, I mean, I have no idea. Do you think we're in a situation where we need a new Crucible match that is available every day of the week, and the rewards are just part of Crucible because that's kind of how it would probably be designed? Or like me, I believe and think it might be a more special thing that only appears weekly. 'Cause
Custom rewards go a long way. That's why I play Trials. That's why I love
Exactly.
Iron Banner.
And
And I
Trials
love
is
getting
too
those
much.
slick armor sets.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's why
Can
I
they
arrived
support
at
that?
because Trials is we talked about in the last few episodes. It's like somebody said, I think it was 18%. I'm sorry, 1 out of every 5 people get to participate in something like that. We need a mode that addresses that, and that's why I do believe a weekly iron, I will call it, will solve that. That's why I arrived at that.
It sounds like
I don't know how it'll play
every
out.
week I have to iron my shirts. Yeah.
There's a bounty.
The weekly iron.
Weekly
you
rise.
iron Lord Saladin's
Yeah.
butt sash, and whoever can tap square or X the fastest wins.
Oh wow,
Sorry.
that's a lot of
More
sash.
gold ideas.
That's a lot of butt sash tapping.
More gold ideas.
I will say I do miss the days of being able to have like a custom tier match in whatever sort of weapon that you want to have, like whether or not it's snipers
Sure.
versus snipers. I mean, that's
what
Yeah,
the
I
pistol
discussed when
snipers,
they
like,
announced
just-
it. They're gonna have game customization options.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
I don't know. I mean,
that's something they need.
I don't know how they would do it.
You think
though,
in
'cause-
addition to a new mode, or do you think maybe there's a mistranslation that's we're only going to have the same modes, but now you can do custom? See, I don't think that's.
Yeah, because within
No,
the
no.
context of your interface, think about like, okay, you have a certain amount of weapons. You're not always guaranteed to have like a sniper in your special inventory. So I don't know how they would do that unless
Yeah.
they just gave you a random sniper.
Yeah,
To,
right.
to answer your
Became
question,
trash.
though, Fran, I think that's an additional thing that they'll be announcing: custom game matches.
On top of it.
It's something that they need, but
mean-
they have to do a new thing for Rise Iron because they said they are, right?
Well, they said there's a new Crucible mode.
Yeah.
Match type. Sorry, this is match type.
Yeah,
Very
so
specific.
we are
There's
getting
new
a new
maps,
match.
by the way, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
don't know. It's like there's PlayStation exclusives. We don't know.
Yeah.
There's all new stuff like that. But as we understand, right, there's a new match type. But on top of that, you're speculating that they could drop the custom. I mean, that would be huge.
I
Like,
think
that would be great
huge.
for fans.
It would
Of
be.
course, I
Yeah.
would like.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm surprised. I honestly don't think they're in a position.
Why are you
to
so
do
against
that.
it, Fran?
I'm
No,
not
just
against it. It is so way overdue.
Well, and that's it. I mean, and not
way
to be
overdue,
like a
but-
downer. Like, I think the custom game ship has sailed. Like, I wanted it so badly as well.
I think it's the
and
engine.
like-
down
I think
side.
it's an engine
Yeah.
limitation.
Yeah.
server side too. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean they
yeah.
need to rebuild so much. That's why I'm like, oh, of course we all want it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I don't think it's realistic to think they're gonna like
Yeah,
have
I
match
don't
types
think so.
plus that.
Guys, we're pretty far over. We should probably wrap it up. This
Yeah, it
was
was fun.
a great
It was good.
episode. Thank you for the fantastic conversation and
yeah, man.
joining us.
I hope it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think
Well,
it was.
Titan
pat on the back.
Titan or Hunter? Are you gonna put a little vote there? Are you gonna
No,
lock in?
So make sure. I'm going to be looking in the comments. I'll probably put a poll on my Twitter,
Yeah.
after this or even before the episode. Start voting because by within 24 hours from now, I need to get this done, get it started. Because I'm leaving for vacation soon. I won't be on the episode next week, unfortunately. But anyway, long story short, I actually need to take some votes and need a little more help. Not that I don't trust you guys, but
Next week we'll be dedicated to making fun of Fran while he's gone. So be sure you tune into that.
As he becomes a Titan.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Exactly. We'll see.
Definitely.
So.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much. You ready for the outro?
of course.
All right, everybody. That was this week's episode. And until next time, Guardians out.
I was late on the point.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Okay.